All right, guys, we got a Chevy Cruz on this one right here. This is the first gen, '08 to 2016, I believe, or 2011. This is the 1.4 Ecotech engine. On this video, I'm gonna show you 15 parts that the Chevy produced and it's faulty, and everybody changed this part. So wait till the end because you won't believe what I'm gonna tell you on the last video. So the first one is gonna be, everything's gonna be under the hood. First one, start on this side, go around and to the bottom. So on this side right here, we're gonna start with the outlet for the coolant right here. It leaks right here. And there's a gasket going to the head, there's leaks. Second one, this bleeder hose right here from the outlet going to the tank. Coolant will come out. There's an O-ring in here, or this plastic will snap in half and then it will leak. And the third one, purge solenoid right here. You will get an engine light. This would stop working, or it will be working really loud. It will have a ticking noise while the engine is running. Fourth one, valve cover. This valve cover, there's a built-in PCV on here. This is the PCV system. It's all together. This to get plugged. So you can't replace the PCV, you have to buy the whole valve cover from the dealer, or you can buy it off the market. And when this thing get plugged, you would have engine lights on. I heard that when this thing is plugged, the whole crankcase system is all pressurized, and then you would have lean condition, engine light is on. On the passenger side, all this timing chain component, whoever works on Chevy Cruz, they know what I'm talking about. The infamous timing chain. All the guides will snap off. The bolts that holds the guide will break. Too much slack. The chain stretch. You got noise. And then the engine will stop. It's out of time. Skip 1 or 3 tooth. So timing chain stretch on this one. Water pump leaks, the infamous leaks on this side right here, a big mess. I have a whole playlist on here doing all this job that I'm gonna mention to you guys. Timing cover, all covered up with oil and coolant. Tensioner for the belt, those things get changed a lot. Crank pulley down there. GM released a new design of crank pulley. It depends on what design you have on your timing cover, because timing cover is together with oil pump. It's all together. If you buy a brand new timing cover and you use your old crank pulley, it's not gonna fit. So make sure, double check. There's like bulletins on this from GM. There's a solenoid right here, the crank solenoid or VVT solenoid. There's gasket O-ring in here. Those gasket leaks when you're doing timing chain or timing components. Make sure to get this thing changed, all those O-rings. And thermostat. All right, so thermostat on 1.4 is right here. There's people that get confused. There's a thermostat housing right here, and then there's an outlet over here. They think that the thermostat is in this side, but the thermostat on this 1.4 is right here. It's part of the housing thermostat. And then the turbo right here. Turbo is part of the exhaust manifold. It's all together. This turbo, probably $1,500 from the dealer. This turbo is infamous to seize up. This is the inlet oil for the turbo. You see how skinny that is? Inlet, and then the outlet is in the bottom. It's like a plastic pipe going down to the oil pan is the return oil from the turbo. On the feed line from the oil right here going to the turbo is so skinny. This line is so small. Like if you have low on oil, or if you never change your oil, this will get clogged up, and then your turbo will get starvation of oil, and then that's when the damage start. Your propeller of your turbo it's gonna freaking seize up. It's not gonna work properly if you have no oil. And then after that, it overheats with no oil, and you're done. Turbo is crap. It's not gonna run properly. Catalytic converter, there's a bulletin on that. There's a recall on that. It depends on the year or the make of your Chevy Cruz. While we're down here, transmission coolant line, inlet and outlet right here, they leaks. Like in this case, it leaks right there. So this is the best way to change this. And back to the turbo, the oil cooler is underneath this manifold right here. There's oil cooler down there. The oil cooler, it bolts the side of the block, and then there's gasket on those, and there's probably 4 gasket involved, and those gasket leaks, so they're really bad. The oil cooler actually is a part of the oil filter housing right here. This is the filter right here. This is the filter housing, so it's all together with the oil cooler. So when you're changing those 4 gaskets from the oil cooler to the block, there's 4 gaskets, so mine as well changing the oil when you're doing this kind of job. You could have oil or coolant leaks on that one. This is the main thing here, is this mess down here for oil and coolant. Okay, underneath here, right there, we have oil leaks down here from the oil pan. I'm gonna be making a video on this oil pan right here, DIY. So that's another flaw on this oil pan gasket. GM recommend using a silicone RTV gasket on this. There's no rubber gasket or paper gasket. I just use RTV. That's what the GM dealer recommend to use. And then the last one, when you have this problem when you're driving for a while, and then when you hear some sizzling noise, like coolant sizzling, it feels like you're overheating, because it's always hot on this side, and you hear that sizzling noise like oil, like when you're cooking hot oil and then you put water in the pan and has that sizzling noise. That is your head gasket and coolant meet. They meet up together, and then it just boiled the coolant, and it's mostly coming from the head to this side right here. So that sizzling noise is your blowing head gasket. It's about to blow, or your coolant is touching the head gasket. It's really close to the cylinder, so that's why you have that noise. And you know, eventually in the future you would have a cylinder leak, and then you have no compression on the cylinder. And I think that's it. Another problem on the trunk here, there's a little touch pad right here. That touch pad to open the trunk, it doesn't work, or once in a while it just eventually the trunk will pop automatically without touching the button. It will short the switch, because sometimes this thing get covered with dirt and water. So that's another problem right there. And back into the engine, I believe that's about it. I think that's more than 15 items that I show you guys on the Chevy Cruz problem. So the same thing as a Chevy Trax engine. What else? Anything with the 1.4 on the Chevy family or GM family, you're gonna have this problem. So that's it, guys. If you wanna check out my playlist on the description down below, some of those parts that I mentioned is on the playlist. It's a DIY. Some of the videos there is mostly DIY, but there's some that is tricks and ideas of sample, like doing the crank pulley bolt. I use the belt trick. You don't need like a special tools to take out that crank bolt. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. See you guys again on the next one.